After watching my dog Kona escape from our yard multiple times, including a heart-stopping dash toward the road, I still couldn't stomach the $14,000 quote for a traditional fence. So I tested 6 wireless dog fences to figure out which one would keep Kona safe. And unlike the $14,000 fence, I can take my top choice with me camping. Before we dive into specific products, let me break down the 3 main types of fences because, yeah, there's actually quite a difference between them. So you've got your traditional in-ground fences that use buried wires. And these are great if you need a really specific boundary shape, but they're kind of a pain to install, and those wires love to break at the worst possible time. Then there's wireless fences that work off a base station, super easy to set up, but you're stuck with a perfect circle boundary, whether you like it or not. Finally, we've got GPS fences. They're the new kids on the block. These use satellites to create boundaries anywhere you want. They're the most flexible option out there, but yeah, they're going to cost you more up front. So which type makes sense for your situation? Well, if you've got a pretty standard suburban yard that's fairly flat and under half an acre, you might be totally fine with a basic wireless fence. But here's where it gets interesting. Traditionally, if you have a bigger property or if you needed custom boundaries, you'd have to go with an in-ground fence. And that's where GPS fences have totally shaken things up. They're perfect if you've got a huge yard with lots of trees or hills, or if you want different boundaries for different places, like having one setup for your backyard and maybe another setup for when you go camping. Plus, they are a total lifesaver if you can't install a traditional fence because of weird terrain or landscaping that you don't want to dig up, or even those pesky HOA rules. So let's start with the wireless fence options, since like most things you can buy, you've got your cheap options and you have your better options. But for small yards or for pups who don't travel, the better options might be overkill. The PetSafe original wireless fence runs about $285 and covers up to half an acre in a circular pattern. The upgraded stay and play model is about $320, and it extends that to about 3/4 of an acre. Both of them are pretty straightforward to set up. Plug in the base station, charge the collar, and you're mostly good to go. The stay and play model in particular has some really nice features like an LCD display that makes setup easier, and it works with dogs as small as 5 pounds. Plus, their batteries don't need to charge overnight, which is pretty much the industry standard with the GPS collars. But, and this is a big but, these systems have some serious limitations that you need to know about. The boundary has to be circular, no custom shapes. Large metal roofs or concrete structures like walls can really interfere with the signal. This interference may actually lead to holes in your fence, which is exactly what you don't want. Plus, these collars only really come with one warning for your dog. It's a little shock that they've crossed the boundary. These feel a bit cruel to me and kind of make me happy that there are some other alternatives. I ultimately recommend the premium GPS options for most people. I know the price difference is substantial, but the technology gap is even bigger. The entry-level GPS options like the Invisible Fence GPS and PetSafe Guardian are trying to bridge this gap, but in my testing, they fall into an awkward middle ground. More expensive than wireless fences, but without the reliability of premium GPS systems. And you're buying a product that needs to work 100% of the time, which is why I have to recommend only 2 options, SpotOn and the Halo Collar 4. The 2 systems I actually recommend for most people. SpotOn uses dual feed active antenna technology. In normal person speak, that means it's constantly getting your dog's position from not 1, but 2 GPS feeds at one time. If one has issues, then the other one's still working. During our testing in the woods, this translated to boundaries that stayed accurate within just a couple of feet, even under heavy tree coverage where other systems struggled. The Halo 4 takes a slightly different approach. While it might not quite match SpotOn's raw accuracy, it makes up for it with an incredible suite of training features and a more compact design. The Cesar Millan training integration isn't just marketing, it's actually really helpful for getting your dog used to the system quickly. I used it with Kona, and it worked really quickly. Our extensive testing has given us a really clear picture of how these systems perform. My friend Zach's 3 years of continuous testing across multiple product generations has consistently shown that SpotOn offers unmatched GPS accuracy in the market. Meanwhile, in my own recent testing with both systems, I found them both to be incredibly reliable. I didn't really experience any significant accuracy issues with either collar. While I appreciate SpotOn's technical edge that Zach has documented, I actually found myself slightly preferring the Halo's overall package for my specific needs with Kona. A few years ago, this wouldn't have even been a contest. SpotOn was clearly ahead. But the Halo 4 has really closed the gap. The collar fits better on most dogs, including my Kona, and I personally prefer their app interface. Now let's talk about cost, because this is really important. Yes, both of these systems are expensive up front, but there's a key difference in how they handle the subscriptions. SpotOn's subscription is optional, unlike even the budget options that we talked about earlier. If you're not planning on using the detailed tracking features, you could actually save money over time despite the higher upfront cost and not another subscription, which I'm personally tired of. After extensive testing with my own dogs and working with dozens of other owners, here's what it really comes down to. SpotOn if you want the absolute best GPS accuracy and you don't want subscriptions. Halo 4 if you want comprehensive training features and if you prefer a more compact design. For smaller yards on a budget, the pet-safe wireless options can work, but understand their limitations. They're really best suited for simple, flat yards where you don't need any custom boundaries. Now, remember to check the description below for current prices and any available discounts. These can really change pretty frequently, so check them out. And I've also included links to our more detailed reviews of each system if you want to dive deeper into any of these specific options. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about your specific situation. I try and respond to as many of them as I can. See you next time.